How are we doing today, guys? It's Jesse, the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. And boys and girls, if you did not think it'd get any worse for Disney Marvel's The Marvels, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's turning out to be an absolute embarrassment. As of course, it ended up being the worst box office superhero movie of all time. Had the absolute worst income on all of it. It had a disastrous box office. That movie literally cost the Walt Disney Company hundreds of millions of dollars. It did not even come close to breaking even, let alone coming anywhere near breaking a profit. Even worldwide, this movie turned out to be an absolute abysmal failure. There is no way to deny that in any way, shape, or form. Whether or not you like the Marvels is irrelevant, because at the end of the day, the money is what matters the most. The box office is what matters the most. And once again, Disney turned another once wonderful brand into an absolute disastrous dumpster fire that has culminated in the Marvels, turning out to be one of Disney's greatest box office flops of all time, and turned out to add one more hundreds of millions of dollars added to their already $1 billion worth of losses in 2023. And well, ladies and gentlemen, of all the insults to add to injury, none other than the last entry, and that is now the end of the DCEU, Aquaman 2 and the Lost Kingdom, a movie that the fans were absolutely up in arms about, because we knew that AH was still going to be in it, that she was still going to be clearly a present in that, and was not going to be near as much of an insignificant character as what a lot of people talked about, or what a lot of us had actually hoped. There was a lot of major fans out there boycotting this movie simply because of her and in and of itself. And of course, you've got the Marvels movie out there as well. And with all of that going against the Aquaman 2 movie, ladies and gentlemen, it still beat the pants off in almost every metric. The Marvels right here, as you can see from this lovely article over here from Cosmic.news. Aquaman 2 box office obliterates the Marvels. DC's Jason Momoa overtakes Marvel's Brie Larson and Iman Vellani. And this is one of them situations where this is a movie that the Walt Disney Company literally gave up on less than a month after it had been released. They saw the trajectory, they saw it going down, 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 and they simply decided to cut their losses so that way YouTubers like me and all of the rest of our crew out there, and everybody else out there in the fellowship, and anybody out there that likes reporting on this kind of stuff, could stop going after them, could stop beating them down week after week. They cut their losses and just stopped reporting on the numbers. Well, that's okay, boys and girls, because now we've got even more numbers to report on, and things are absolutely hilarious. The fact that Aquaman 2, the end of a universe that we knew was ending a year ago, still beat out the Marvels. But how bad did it? Well, boys and girls, let's find out. But before we get into this article and give you all of the juicy details, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe if you are not already, because we are grinding, we are growing, we are getting bigger and bigger around here, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Hitting that subscribe button doesn't cost you a thing, but I will thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. So let's get into this article, and let's get into all of the juicy details, crunch the numbers, and see exactly how abysmally bad this is for Disney Marvel. Sorry, MCU fanboys, the Aquaman 2 box office has now passed the Marvels by a large margin. DC's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is now up to $258.27 million on a budget of $205 million, while the Marvels stalled out at only $205 million on a budget of $275 million. So they literally spent $70 million more on the Marvels movie than Aquaman 2, and still ended up an absolute box office disaster and being embarrassed by a movie that is the end of a universe, that is the end of a timeline over there at Warner Brothers. Still, more people showed up to go see that movie than what was supposed to be the culmination and was supposed to be the sequel to Captain Marvel, which for some reason made $1 billion at the box office, but for some reason, the Marvels itself, starring the exact same character, somehow couldn't even crack $210 million globally. Huh. Weird. I wonder what could have happened to Disney Marvel over the last few years to see something like that happen. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below if you know why. Both flicks actually have the same domestic box office, around 84 million, but it's the international audience that makes up the big difference. Aquaman 2 has a foreign box office of 173.6 million, while the Marvels bombed with 121 million. And like I said, they stopped reporting on it. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom also got a boost from its China release with a 33.7 million, where the Marvels only made half of that at 15.2 million. I mean, literally, obviously you don't make anywhere near as much of a profit off of the Chinese box office. You make like maybe 25% if you're lucky. Majority of that ends up going into the CCCP's pocket. But at the end of the day, it's one of them situations where that still is pathetic because Disney and China are all buddy-buddy all the time. The hell, they've even got Disney investors that are going to start investing in like the Deadpool movie and a few of the other kind of things that they've got going on right now. So Disney is tight with China. And even this, the Marvels movie absolutely failed abysmally. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom doubled the box office over there in China. That is pathetic. And the article goes on. I can recall seeing more than one Marvel fan online commenting on how the Marvel's opening box office beat Aquaman 2. Well, how'd that work out? Yes, because the early estimates for the Aquaman 2 movie were going to be were way below what even the Marvels did, which I thought was foolish. I thought that was silly. I assumed that Aquaman was going to end up beating the Marvels. And yes, boys and girls, here we have it. They absolutely have. And it's a beautiful thing to see. Aquaman 2 only saw a 26.9% drop from week 1 to week 2. That is insane, boys and girls. The average drop is at least 50 to 60% for most movies week over week. And hey, guess what? It was even worse for the Marvels. Marvels is the worst performing superhero movie of all time, dropping a massive 78.1% from opening weekend to its next weekend. I mean, we knew this movie was DOA right from the very beginning. And guess what? We got proven right. And even Jason Momoa's literal conclusion to the end of a universe, to the end of a timeline, still absolutely beat it. No hands doubt at the box office. That is pathetic. A win is a win. Hey, I'm not saying it's a win for DC by any means, but Aquaman 2 is the last movie of the DCEU, and it's basically meaningless. Absolutely, 100%. We know Jason Momoa is no longer going to carry on with the Aquaman character going forward in James Gunn's universe. The rumor is, and most likely is true, that he's going to end up playing as Lobo going forward. So literally, this is a movie that meant nothing to the fan base in any way, shape, or form. The Marvels is just an awful film that proves no one is interested in those characters. And it's absolutely right. You know, I really like the actress, Villani. She seems really nice. She's been very sweet in the press. She's been very good towards the fans. She hasn't said anything stupid, silly, or bad. But that was literally up until Secret Invasion came out. That was the lowest watched Marvel show on Disney Plus. And then you've got another character that was a side character in WandaVision teaming up with the most unlikable character inside the Marvel universe, Brie Larson, as Captain Marvel. Color us shocked that this movie was going to fail. We knew the writing on the wall from the very beginning. That was literally, like I said, the Captain Marvel, the television show, Miss Marvel, the television show, was the lowest rated outside until Secret Invasion came up. They are both now tied as the lowest rated, lowest watched show on Disney Marvel's streaming service over on Disney Plus. What did you expect to happen? So Aquaman 2, Jason Momoa, the Marvels is an awful film. Yeah, right. Jason Momoa will continue on as Lobo in James Gunn's DCU. Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, if they show up again, it's guaranteed to be another ratings disaster. And we have heard no reports. We have heard no information whatsoever to see these characters going forward any farther than that. And considering the fact that they lost hundreds of millions of dollars on that movie, why would you go forward with those kind of characters? Guess what? MCU ain't panning out for you. How's that wham and power going for you, Disney Marvel? Yeah, not so much, is it? Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is now obliterating the Marvels on the dailies. So it will be interesting to see exactly where Aquaman 2 ends its box office run. The Marvels, Disney called it quits less than a month after it opened. This is absolutely pathetic. I mean, we can go down here and look at the dailies, right? We got December 1st, the first day, day one, $13.7 million, whereas the Marvel's day one was $21 million. But see, that's the big thing, is the hold, right? Look at the whole. Third day, the third day on the Marvels, 9.2 million. Fourth day, right? So after the weekend is over, 2.3, 3.3, 1.7, 1.2, 2.7, 4.4, another weekend, 2.9, 1.1. Whereas you can see right here, look at how well these dailies are doing for Aquaman 2. 13 million, 9 million, 5 million, 10 million, 8 million, 5 million, 5 million, 6 million, 7 million, 5 million, 6 million. Notice a huge difference there Color us shocked. Jason Momoa in a movie that is already from a defunct universe that we already know is over, running around, attracted more people to the theater than Brie Larson, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and I guess the not actual photon chick. Color us shocked. Show me on the doll where Disney Marvel hurts you. I guarantee you we're showing you exactly where that is now. Disney Marvel is an absolute abysmal failure. The once great Titan that used to be the industry standard for box office successes and inside a shared universe has now abysmally failed miserably and has cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. And now a movie from what we already knew was a defunct universe has literally beat their latest entry, once again proving that everything Disney touches turns to dust. Modern Disney is nothing more than an agenda-driven nonsense that will continue to push this kind of stuff forward until it literally bankrupts them. But guess what, boys and girls? This is just more fuel to the fire for Nelson Peltz and all of the rest of the proxy battle that's going to be coming up this year, and I cannot wait to see what happens. Who knows? Maybe we'll actually get some of the right people fired, and maybe, just maybe, they might be able to restore some of the Disney Marvel image. But I wouldn't be holding my breath on that one. But hey, boys and girls, that's just my common sense take. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section down below. Does it surprise you at all that Aquaman 2 ended up beating the Marvels at the box office? Did you think both of them were going to be just abysmal failures? Given Aquaman 2 is still absolutely a flop based on how much money they spent, but at the end of the day, it's still nowhere near as bad of a flop as the Marvels. And to get beat by a flop like Aquaman 2 from a dead universe, boy, I'll tell you what, Bob Iger, Kevin Feige, and everybody else over at Disney Marvel must be really feel like they've got serious egg on their face. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section down below. Does any of this surprise you? Let me know. This is Jesse with The Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.